He is a top-tier professional hitman, but a brief distraction by a woman's long legs caused him to miss the optimal window for the shot. Luckily, having already scouted the target's booth, he quickly adjusted his scope, training it steadily on the head of the table. His investigation revealed that the Chinese mob boss hailed from Shandong. However, his associate inside saw the boss make a last-minute seat change, all because his daughter wanted to sing on stage for her birthday, leading them to move to a table near the stage. This sudden complication forced an immediate change of plans. Angelo calmly stowed his weapon and headed into the restaurant. At the entrance, the boss's men were conducting rigorous security checks, ensuring no weapons or dangerous items were brought inside. Angelo remained unfazed, carrying nothing but a car key. As a premier hitman, he never relied solely on firearms. He scanned the room quickly, familiarizing himself with the layout, then headed straight for the restroom. Hanging up his coat, he confirmed that every stall was empty. Then, donning his gloves, he scouted for any makeshift weapons. His eyes locked onto a metal tissue box using his car key. He began to dismantle it. Meanwhile, his partner was growing impatient. As a waiter passed by, he discreetly caused a collision, spilling drinks all over the mob boss. The boss stood up and stormed toward the restroom in a rage. Seeing the vandalized tissue box only furthered his fury. Angelo felt a flicker of annoyance at the target appearing so suddenly, but prepared to strike nonetheless. Meanwhile, the boss's daughter was joyfully singing and dancing on stage. The boisterous music and singing perfectly masked the violent struggle unfolding in the bathroom. Angelo neutralized the three men with lethal efficiency, then quickly rinsed the weapon and discreetly placed it back into the tissue box. Exiting the bathroom, he donned his suit jacket and calmly walked away from the scene. Upon regrouping with his partner, he couldn't help but berate him for taking an initiative without permission and disrupting the rhythm of the hit. He had seen the target with his lovely daughter. He didn't want to strike while a father was cherishing the joy of his daughter's song. As he has a daughter of his own and fully empathizes with that paternal bond, little did they know their every move as they departed was already being watched from the shadows. Zoon, with the razor-sharp intuition honed over years as a hitman, he realized he was being tailed. At first he remained unfazed, but while waiting at a red light, he glimpsed the driver ahead, adjusting the rearview mirror, confirming instantly that he was indeed a target. At the next intersection, he made a sharp left turn, then pulled over at the following block to smoke out the tail's intentions. Sure enough, the pickup truck followed without hesitation, charging straight at him as he threw the car into reverse to evade. Relying on his vehicle's superior performance, he quickly lost the pursuer. He drove to the roof of a parking garage. His goal wasn't to flee, but to identify the assailant, their motive, and who was pulling the strings. But back at the hotel, as he prepared to enter his door code, his mind suddenly went blank. He couldn't recall the string of numbers he once knew by heart. It wasn't until a neighbor spoke up that he finally snapped out of his confusion. He closed the door, but a moment later there was a knock. It turned out he had left his backpack in the hallway. Such uncharacteristic forgetfulness for a hitman known for his caution was extremely rare. Realizing he might be ill, he dug through his old files, which contained detailed records of all his past targets. He had to find a clue to figure out who was stalking him. By reviewing one of the profiles, he suddenly recognized the man standing next to the deceased, the very same man who had been trailing him earlier that day. This was a target he took out in Newark last year. Upon checking, he discovered the man photographing him was the victim's brother. He immediately confronted his boss, who was disguised as a chef, demanding to know why he wasn't told the target had a brother. The boss claimed the situation was complicated, saying he had only just found out because the two were half-brothers, with different last names. Angelo was furious for him. Immediate family details are critical intel that must be known in advance. He needed to know exactly how many enemies he had made. The boss told him not to worry, promising to handle it through a contact, and sternly warned Angelo not to take matters into his own hands. Angelo took his boss's word for now, and drove back to his safe house. He stowed his gear, changed into civilian clothes, and drove his beat-up car to a family dinner at his daughter's. To his family, he was nothing more than an ordinary copier salesman. Looked at his daughter and his son-in-law, whom he held in slight contempt. Jeff was an aspiring app developer, but Angelo believed that without a stable paying job, his app development was merely a hobby, one that couldn't support a family. These remarks clearly displeased Maria. And I love him, that's what matters. It happened to be the anniversary of Angelo's wife's death. The family had gathered to honor her memory. Angelo was once again haunted by that tragic day, when a drunk driver ruthlessly took his wife's life. Returning home that night, Angelo was horrified to find his front door wide open, a sign that his enemies had found him. Just then the blue pickup from earlier slowly cruised past his house. He realized his address was compromised, putting his daughter in immediate danger. He decided to stop taking orders from his boss and take matters into his own hands to eliminate the threat. He contacted his partner and obtained a vital lead. The stalker Moshe was a regular at a certain bar. At night, Angelo quickly spotted Moshe at the bar, harassing a waitress until the proprietress intervened to put an end to the scene. As Angelo moved in, his boss suddenly appeared and held him back. Forced to watch Moshe leave, Angelo sought information by striking up a conversation with the proprietress.
I like how you handled that guy. Oh, let me take care of things. Oh, if you could answer top. Let me take care of things. Good talk. So, what do you? I like to know who's in my club. I'm a hitman, but I only kill bad people. What you really do? Repair photocopiers. After a few drinks, the two of them
really hit it off, which naturally led to a more intimate connection. When he returned home late that night and tried to enter his code, that sense of confusion washed over him once more. While the proprietress was in the restroom, he searched her handbag. Once he confirmed there was no threat, he removed a painting from the wall. Revealing a safe behind it, he placed his concealed weapon inside. As they were about to continue their conversation, a sudden noise startled them.
I hope that's not the guy from the Sioux Club. No, he lives in Brooklyn. Mainland Sand. Sure. Carl is right behind the Dumbo Bay Bridge, with a seemingly casual remark. Angelo managed to extract key information.
It wasn't until early the next morning that the two exchanged names. Nicky mentioned he was thirsty, so Angelo told him to grab some water from the fridge, but when Nicky opened the refrigerator door, he froze. Without a word, he turned around, grabbed his bag, and left abruptly, feeling as though he'd been played. Still bewildered, Angelo walked over to the fridge in confusion, only to be completely stunned. He had inadvertently left his own pistol inside the refrigerator. He realized he was truly ill, and it was serious. Knowing he couldn't wait any longer, he used the address he'd pried from Nicky to track down Moshe's residence. He used a baseball bat to choke the man, demanding to know who else knew about him. Faced with silence, he didn't hesitate. He swung the bat and beat the man to death. Afterward, he hurried to the hospital. It was the day of his daughter's prenatal checkup when the doctor declared the baby was healthy. Angelo let out a genuine smile. Just then, his phone rang incessantly with missed calls. By the time he got home, a detective was waiting for him. The detective informed him that just 2 weeks ago, the man who murdered his wife had been released from prison early. Apparently, his cellmate was a high-ranking gangster. The other party inadvertently let slip evidence of his crimes, which Earl overheard. He then testified against his cellmate to secure a reduced sentence. When Angelo arrives at the restaurant for dinner with his daughter, he receives multiple messages from his boss on his phone, informing him of Moshe's death and demanding an immediate debrief. Then a call comes through. Angelo chooses to switch off his phone, unwilling to let professional matters ruin the meal with his daughter. But throughout the dinner, he remains deeply unsettled. Driven by a killer's instinct, the moment a shot rings out, he shoves his daughter aside and gives chase. But the shooter has already sped away in a car. The shot is definitive proof that his family is now fully exposed to danger.